Oh yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
I ended up oh never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say. I
Okay.
ended up
I took a lease out on your heart. I took a lease out on your heart. Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun?
Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we are on a quest for Dynasty domination. How are you doing over there, Daniel?
doing well, man. I'm having a good time. I'm ready for what I can only describe as the perfectly scripted NFL wild card weekend.
Mm.
So I think everyone else is pretty pumped about that too. I won't get into it if you don't know the conspiracies,
I mean,
then make your own,
the NFL script writers were in their bag for this weekend for sure.
Dude, they
McCarthy,
nailed
Green
it.
Bay, Stafford, Detroit,
Mhm.
all going
Tyreek's
off.
coming back to Arrowhead.
Yeah, Tyreek coming
There's
back
like
to
the old
Arrowhead.
William and Mary matchup with McDermott and Tomlin.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a,
wild, man.
it's about all you can do. The only way it could get any worse is if it ends up like the Browns and the Ravens, like Flacco versus the Ravens
Oh
for
yeah,
the
that
AFC
would be
Championship
oh,
game. That would be
that's gonna happen now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't I'm not supposed to read ahead, but I did anyway. But this week, I mean, yeah, we're done. We're done with the regular
Yeah,
season.
it's wild.
So
Another 2023 season wrapped up. Sad
it's
day.
it was an interesting one. It went faster. The
Yeah.
longer they get, the faster they go. That's what I always say. But um we had a lot of fun, really exciting rookie class.
Oh yeah,
Uh
I liked it a
and we
lot.
spent our whole spring talking about these guys, man.
Hmm.
And And one thing we did every year, we've done it 3 years now, and we'll be doing it a fourth pretty quick, is the rookie March Madness bracket where we
Wherever it's gonna be.
oh
I'll put
oh
it up
you-
somewhere.
and we end up like seeding 64 of these guys and do like a round by round, matchup by matchup elimination, and it's a ton of fun. Um,
Yeah. And I want to
but
throw out importantly, this is I don't even know if combine stuff has rolled in yet. I think
oh
it has,
yeah.
but they definitely haven't been drafted. So this is pre-draft. We've got all this stuff. So this is like our first initial takes of these guys in this tournament.
Yeah, it's like purely film,
Mhm.
definitely pre-NFL draft. So, um, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But this is the first year where we're gonna redo the Sweet 16.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be exciting. So tonight, what we're getting into is looking back at the Sweet 16 from this past year
Mhm.
and seeing kind of how we did, any major misses, and then we're gonna reseed the Sweet 16 as a postseason and rehash it out so we can kind of get our takeaways for the rookie seasons. So before we get into the Sweet 16, I think we're gonna identify like a top 20 rookies that are gonna make it in the postseason Sweet 16. That way, when we go through our preseason Sweet 16, we're not double dipping too hard. So
Mhm.
how about that, man? I'm gonna
I'm
nominate.
excited.
Yeah, dude. I feel like it's gonna get weird. 20 is a tight number when it comes to this
There was a
because I feel like
lot,
1 through 12 is locked in,
yeah,
and then it
ish.
gets
The order is probably a bit different, but yeah.
sure.
And then it gets weird, yeah, but it just because I feel like all the time we'll hear like, oh, these down draft classes. But I mean, here we are, there's 20 guys we're trying to rank, and we're still having a hard time doing it. I mean, I guess
Mhm.
that's just it's hard to rank stuff, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of guys here that I like a lot.
yeah. And so we're looking at like 20 guys that are like fantasy startable, or like
Hmm.
extremely relevant. So that's a pretty good rookie class.
Yeah.
But okay, we'll get the obvious out of the way. We're just gonna go with I'm gonna say Sam Laporta made the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Or- all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He definitely did. 100%.
All right, you just throw out a guy. We'll just go back and forth until we get our 20 guys, and then we'll hit that Sweet 16 from preseason.
Okay. Bijan.
Okay, love that. How about HAN?
Okay. Let's go Puka.
Okay, yep. Jameer Gibbs.
Gibbs. Yep. Yep. Zay Flowers.
All right, Jordan Addison.
Okay. Yeah. Richardson. Anthony.
Oh yeah, Kincaid, Dalton.
Spears. Tajay.
Uh, Reed, Jaden,
Yeah, for sure. Stroud. CJ.
CJ, like that. Okay, Rice, Rasheed.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Tank Dell.
Okay, I
Don't
like
for,
that.
don't forget about Tank Dell just because he's hurt.
It's getting fishy now, dude. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I had him in. Yep, I got him in mine.
Okay. Okay.
Josh Downs.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Well, how about Luke Musgraves? Possible top 20.
I had him in my 20.
Okay.
If that, I don't mean to spoil anything, but he was in the 20. Um, Kendre Miller.
Oof. Well, sure. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, he was in there. And
Oof.
the last guy that I had that we haven't named in my 20 was Michael Mayer.
Okay. Yeah, I had Roshan.
He was 21. I had him typed out and then counted and was like, oh shit, I have
Oh,
21 and I deleted Roshan. But I'm brainwave,
okay.
brainwave.
Okay.
We
I
were
left
there.
Mayer out. Yeah. Couple close ones. I'm excited about Demario Douglas.
Yeah.
Still not sure what Aiden O'Connell is. So,
I
but
think
yeah,
the Raiders will draft somebody, but yeah, those
I
are
hope
interesting
so.
run. Demario was cool. I was on him kind of mid-season, and that offense is just so terrible. But I'd be excited to see him with a
New
competent
coach.
offense, a new coach, a new quarterback. Let's the
Oh my
old new show.
God. That's
Also, with since we have 21, basically, do you want to cut it to 20 and just say since you left out Michael Mayer and I was iffy on Roshan, we just put Roshan in as the 20?
okay.
Just
Yeah.
do it like that.
We'll just
Okay.
assume that the Sweet 16 will omit whoever it omits. But
Yeah, for sure.
okay, well, with that out of the way, we can look at last year's Sweet 16.
Ah, I guess
And
okay, so
then
while I'm doing it, I think I'm on the right. That way. Wait, that way.
it's over
This
there,
way. Whatever. Fuck
right
it.
there.
For the audio
Well,
listeners, I was stupidly trying to figure out where on the screen this will go.
yeah, we're frantically pointing, and it's a lot of fun. Jump
Check
on
us out on
YouTube.
YouTube.
We don't do that enough, but this time we're asking you
We
politely.
need to get better
Um,
at the whole podcast, social media, promoting ourselves aspect of it. We need to get better at that.
this is our moment. So
2024.
we got this, dude. It's still January. There's time. We will run out of time, but for now, we've got time.
We do have it.
So if you're viewing the bracket right now, you'll notice there are 7 names that were in the Sweet 16 this past spring that were not in our top 20 right now. So this guy, I guess, gives us a moment to circle back on expectations and letdowns and just see how it goes before we launch into the seeding. And the next week, of course, we'll be hashing out the actual Sweet 16 after seeing these guys on the field. So the guys who didn't make the cut, some of them ran into some pretty tight matchups. So I'm just starting top left the way it always goes. And Jackson Smith and Jigba was up against Dwayne McBride.
Mm.
Wow.
That
Yeah,
was
who
a
wasn't about Dwayne McBride?
Yeah, that was a me project, I think for sure. I was pushing that hard. I really liked his running style, man, and I it's still I when he came in as a seventh round pick, it obviously would have made him not make it to the Sweet 16 if we had done it after the draft. But I was
Mhm.
still even in on him after that because I felt like there was a weakness at the running back position for Minnesota still, and I thought he could sneak in there, a la Eli Mitchell or something. But um, didn't really ever happen for him.
No, but I mean, at that point, yeah, he's coming off that 1,700-yard season with 19 touchdowns. It was,
It's
it was
great.
everything it needed to be. Uh, and this happens time and time again. You see guys who are, beasts in the production in college. It just doesn't translate to the pros. So yeah, luckily for us, Dwayne definitely lost that matchup
Yeah.
to Jackson Smith and Jigba, so we don't have to eat too much crow on that one. But next up in the orange, we had Darnell
Mm.
Washington versus Jameer Gibbs. And what are you going to say about Darnell Washington? So obviously, we know everything. I mean, actually, we haven't really learned too much. He had like 7 catches this year,
Hmm.
but
Well,
he was a blocking tight end, man.
I think we learned that at draft night. So the whole
Oh
thing,
yeah,
and I haven't gone back and listened, but I would imagine what we were talking about with Washington was, oh man, somebody can unlock that receiving ability and like make this giant guy into a massive target. But the moment he gets drafted on the team with Fryermuth on it,
right.
okay, well that's he's just a blocking tight end, which is great. I wanted like if he fell in Green Bay as the blocking tight end, that would have been awesome. I
For
still would
sure.
have liked that. But like that just draft night made all of our Washington like hope go away instantly. You know?
Yep. No, I agree with you 100%. And yeah, like Hayward's getting featured over him on the
Hmm.
Steelers, so it's just it's not 100% for him, but lucky for us, he loses to Jameer Gibbs
Yeah.
in the in this first round of the Sweet 16. So yeah, we can move on from that. Man, I got to tell you, the green bracket was right where it needed to be.
Yeah.
It
Nailed
was
that one.
smooth. Bijan versus Addison, so
Hmm.
those guys are still alive. Kincaid versus Stroud, so they make it through. Um, but then you get topside on the blue, and
Oof.
we're looking at Quentin Johnston, a number 1 seed in this bracket, up against Tajay Spears. So obviously, we know that Quentin Johnston ain't a 1 seed, man.
Mm-mm.
It was all bad for
It's
the
not a
Chargers
great
this
year.
year, uh, unless you're Keenan Allen.
Is it the worst rookie season we've seen from a first round pick since we started doing this podcast? I don't know.
Uh,
Of somebody that played. Like obviously Jameson sat most of the year.
it has to be, yeah, because we started after the Jalen Rager season, but even
Y-
his rookie was better than that.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
wild.
definitely the worst. I mean, I would be shocked if there was a worse than that.
Yeah,
It's definitely the
it's
worst.
pretty bad.
It
Yeah.
was awful. And I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I mean, if you are in the fantasy world,
You know about
uh,
Glenn Johnson.
yeah. So hey, man, bounce back candidate, but he's not in our postseason, the Sweet 16, not
Mm,
even a little bit.
mm-mm.
Um, and then next up, you've got, let's see, I'm gonna go with Bryce Young versus Chase Brown.
Both
Wow.
not in the Sweet 16. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I guess to start with Chase Brown, like he looked great. I
he
mean, he
has
looked
looked great.
awesome,
No, yeah,
but
he's looked good.
like Joe Mixon ain't playing games, man.
Yeah,
So
two
that,
touchdowns even in week 18.
yeah, Mixon is he ain't leaving room for anybody else to
Hmm.
be a rookie of note at the
Now,
moment.
watch the Chase Brown hype train heat up, though, if Joe Mixon were to leave this offseason or get traded or something crazy like that. But
Well,
um,
it's 100% justified, man. Like, this guy, his burst score was in 95th percentile, and then speed score was up at the 89th, man. Like,
yeah,
and he's good size, and we saw the production coming out of Illinois. I mean, we were in this guy. Like
Illini. Yeah, we were. I mean, he made it to the Sweet 16. He was even a 5 seed.
yeah, no, we're serious about him, and he's got a good future. But you got to look at that.
Hmm.
He's not in the top 20 right now. So,
Mhm.
And Bryce Young, my dude, another number one seed there.
Mhm.
Um, enough said, man.
Yeah, it's tough. Maybe, I mean, he still showed flashes of like what you wanted to see from him, but it was pretty bad. Hopefully, with new coach, new regime in there. But what sucks is that Carolina is just so screwed from like a team building standpoint. They don't have their first. They, I don't know. It's tough. I was trying to rebuild them on Madden, and it's tough. It's a hard
Yikes.
time. So.
Hopefully they get some cap space in there to do something with.
It's okay, if it's accurate, I think. I don't remember. I haven't looked at it but in a while, but
It's mad,
um
dude. It's
it's
100%
gotta
real
be
life.
accurate, right?
Right.
Um
Okay, so next up is Izzy Abandakanda
mhm.
versus A Flowers, and I gotta tell you, I love Izzy, man. I'm still in it. Obviously, you guys heard me telling you that he had 21 touchdowns and like average 22 yards per touchdown or whatever. Like he was amazing. Didn't really even get his second carry until week 14. But when we did all this, when we got excited, it was like pre-Dalvin to the Jets and like pre Izzy to the Jets. Really, like we didn't know
Mhm.
he was going to be behind Brees Hall. So um, yeah, I was pumped about him. I still think he's a good football player, but
Yeah. I
zero
mean,
opportunity.
that spot might open up now too. Dalvin Cook's not there anymore. They shipped out Michael Carter in the middle of the season, so like
Yep.
he may have solidified that like number two spot. And I still, you never know. He's young coming into the draft, if I recall correctly. So Um, you've got time on Izzy because he had that speed, and you've seen it a little bit in the NFL, like the few
Preseason was
times.
good before he
Yeah,
got hurt.
exactly. Yeah, he looked good. So we're not out on him. He shouldn't be a three
Yeah,
seed or making it to the Sweet 16 or
come
anything.
on,
But
dude. Give me a break. Yeah, he's still 21, so we're good.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
So yeah, I mean that's basically it. And then yeah, the only people with a victory in the Sweet 16 that didn't make it was just Bryce Young. So that's not bad. We even had
Yeah,
Quentin
they didn't
Johnson
make it that
losing to
far.
Tajay Spears. So and in a way we were pretty. I mean
We're a little
you
on
know
it, especially for me to then turn around and draft Johnson.
Yeah, that's always fun, man. So can we eliminate a couple of these guys and get down to or should we start at the top and get our number one seeds established?
Let's get rid of the just missed category. Let's see who
Okay.
the four that aren't making it. I guess I'll throw out a name. Maybe surprising. I say Luke Musgrave. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I kind of spoiled it a little bit, but I don't have him. I do have him in the top 20. I still think he looked great. He was on pace to break the Packers rookie receiving tight end record
Mhm.
for I think all like yards receiving and touchdowns. So he was on the way. We'll see if he can kind of light it up in the playoffs. They didn't really use him in week 18. His first came back, but it was a lacerated kidney. Like, what are you gonna do? So I still think the ceiling is there for him, but I also, with the emergence of Tucker Craft, I think it could end up being like a two-guy show there or something similar. I still think the ceiling for Musgrave is high, but that's why I think he falls kind of just in the just miss category.
Yeah, and there was some it was kind of tight to get to the 16, man. That 15, 16 spot could have gone any way. I'm Roshan, is he in the top 20? I'm cutting him or well Mayor, either one.
Yeah, so either one. We can say Roshan.
Okay.
I like Roshan's future potential. I still think that running back room is fairly open. I think I mean
Week
Herbert.
16, 17, Khalil was killing it, man.
Yeah, I mean Khalil looked great, but I don't know. I feel like I mean I guess Eberflus is staying. We found out today, but Getsy is on the way out. So we got to see what's going on there. We don't even know if
To
they're going to
see who
get rid
the
of
signal caller is going to
Fields.
be. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a lot going on there, but yeah, I think he fights for the 20 spot to me,
Right.
but yeah, just on the outside.
Nice.
I would
Gee,
say Dalton Kincaid.
ooh. Oh, okay. I definitely had him in the top
You
16,
had him in the 16. Okay.
but
Maybe I'm sleeping.
maybe we'll hit the pause on that. Maybe we'll
Okay.
figure it out.
Okay.
Um, because I was gonna take Miller out, Kendra Miller.
I am comfortable doing that because I literally ranked it 20 and I had Miller at 16 and Kincaid at 17. So I am fine flipping that
Okay.
for the sanctity of the show.
Oh man. See, yeah, these are the hard discussions. Shit. Okay, okay, okay. And then so is there one more that needs to be removed?
Yeah, I would say that would be Zach Charbonnet.
Okay, yeah, I wanted you to say it. I wanted you to say it out loud, so I didn't have to.
It is a sad day for sure, but I think just with Walker being there and now Pete Carroll's gone, so who
Oh
even knows
yeah.
what's going to go on? I mean, I know
Jimmy
Carroll's
Pablo, dude.
hanging around, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Charbonnet makes it fine. So yeah, so the four guys not making it into the Sweet 16 just misses Kendra Miller, Zach Charbonnet, Luke Musgrave, Michael Mayer.
Okay. Man, it's did Pete get the Bruce Arians treatment?
Yeah, so that seems like kind of what's going on. I don't know if he wanted to do that or if Seattle said, "Hey, you can stay, but this
Hmm.
kind of thing." I didn't read into it, but yeah, I guess he's staying on as like a advisory type role. Um, so I don't know
What
if
a
he just
world,
like is getting old and doesn't want to
for sure.
put the stress on it anymore or what that is about, but
That's beautiful. Okay, should we do number one seeds?
yes. So, I think we should explain though. So the way we're going to do the bracket, because this isn't real sports, there's not the chance for Cinderella stories and upsets really. So instead of having each bracket have a one, a two, a three, and a four seed, we're going to do one side of the bracket of all the one seeds, one side of the bracket of all the two seeds, one side of the bracket of all the three seeds, and one side of the bracket of all the four seeds, and then have the final four be the best of each seed. So
Yeah,
just so you know, that's how we're kind of structuring that as the audience. So
a little more competitive, so it's not like one
yeah,
beats four, two beats three.
yeah,
You know, decisions have already been made. So
I,
you put all the fours and against each other, and you really have to have some tough decisions.
yeah, for sure. It's one of the few complaints about our bracket in the offseason. It's the really the only downside is that it's fairly predictable, but
When we seed the people and then we walk through the bracket, do we?
it makes it kind of
Yep. All right. Well, this time we're going to change it up. We're going to make it a little funky. So, um, one seeds. This is really tough
Mhm.
for me because I want to do five, but I can only do
It
four.
was tough. Yeah, this was tough
Uh,
lumping four.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that Puka Nakoa has to be a one seed.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can run from it, you can try and argue about it. And maybe I'm one of those guys. I don't think I'm as high on Puka as maybe everyone else is, but you just can't justify a lower rank for a guy that just broke the rookie catch and yardage record.
Yep.
And Stafford looks great. He should be there for the foreseeable. It looks like Puka is ultimately going to slide in as that Cooper Cup role because Cooper Cup has vanished as of late. Not vanished, but he's been dealing with injuries and stuff. Um, so yeah, like even if you want to like, and I think some of this stuff is valid, like, oh, maybe and does it work in other offenses, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, pen to paper, he had 160 targets and had almost 1,500 yards. And if he had more touchdowns, his season would have been bananas.
Hmm.
So he was a guy I toyed with fighting for that like fourth spot, I guess. But at the end, you just can't. I can't take it away from him.
Hell yeah, I agree, man. It was tough, but I decided to start with him just to clear the air on that.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
for sure. I like that. So yeah, I had him ranked right at 4, so he would be like the last one seed.
Yeah.
Um, you want to hear who my number one was?
Yeah.
Overall player?
Yeah.
Sammy Ballgame, dog.
Okay.
That
Okay.
that advantage at wide or at tight end we have seen help people with Kelsey just absolutely dominating that field for the last 10 years. And to come out and be the tight end one in your rookie season and you led the league, the tight ends and receiving touchdowns, you almost could have had 1,000 yards. I mean, you were almost at 900 yards, so a few more big weeks and you're there. He was the first tight end not named Kelsey or Andrews since 2015 to be the tight end one. Like
That's
that's just,
incredible.
and to me, like that advantage, as much as I love Bijan and like Gibbs and all these other guys, um, that advantage, that positional advantage going forward could help your team so much because I don't know if I'm going to spoil things, but as we're about to look at, like to me, Bijan and Gibbs, while I have them both as like S tier, God tier running backs, whatever you want to call them, they're right there next to each other. Where's the next tight end on this list? You know?
16 or 17, apparently.
Exactly. So to me, I just think that positional advantage. That's why I had him ranked one of the ones. So he's my one seed of the ones.
Nice. I like that, man. Yeah, I had him in as a one seed. I'm going in no particular order with my
Okay.
seeds. Um, but I do like to send AJ a screenshot of me telling him that Laporte is the next Kelsey last March. Makes me feel like I nailed it, but it doesn't matter. Um, man, okay, so do you have Bijan and Gibbs then?
Yeah, I do.
Because
Those are my other
okay,
two ones.
okay. So is I had Stroud in there, but I'm gonna
Mm,
go with you. It makes me it's way easier just to
okay.
go.
Well, that'll be
Because I
interesting to talk about later.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, to me, Bijan and Gibbs, I mean, they were the RB10 and the RB9, and
yeah.
all year we've heard people somehow like bitch about their production and complain that it hasn't been good. I mean, that was more at the front with Gibbs. That died off as he took off like a rocket going the rest of the year. In fact, he actually averaged more per game than Bijan. He would have been the RB8 if his average stood for the entire season. And I think he could really explode into like an Alvin Kamara of the North type role for Detroit. And that's going to be perennial top 10 running back status for you. And then Bijan, like, it's a down year, and I get it. He is hyped to the moon. But if I told you your rookie running back had 1,463 all-purpose yards and 8 touchdowns in his first season, you'd be stoked if he was the RB9. It's just because his name is Bijan Robinson that everybody's like, oh, RB9, like that's okay. We need a new coach to come in here and change all this shit up. Like, okay, yeah, I agree, but also he has not been as bad as people are acting like he's been. I mean,
This
I think
is
he's been
bullshit.
electric. It,
Yeah, but he's getting vultured touchdowns by Cordero Patterson in the first round of the fantasy playoffs. So he
I
sucks now.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, he only had 47% of the snap share in Atlanta for the running
Yeah,
backs. You're talking about a guy that didn't even lead his snap share and he's the RB9. Like, let's calm down. He'll be great. I
I'm
think
in it.
Gibbs not that far behind him, to be fair. I think Gibbs is awesome, but I do think just let's calm down on the whole Bijan thing.
I'm with you, man. Get him while you still can. Am I right?
Yeah.
Got him. All right. So then let's do tier two.
So tier two. So this is where you
Stuff.
might get upset at me because I had Stroud actually one more tier lower. So I don't even have him in
Okay.
tier two.
My God. Okay.
So
My Lord.
that
All right.
it's not due to his play. Like he's
Yeah.
awesome. He's
No.
incredible. I just think doesn't have the QB ceiling of some of the other guys in terms of fantasy production. I think he's amazing for the Texans, but he doesn't have like he runs enough, but not like incredible amount. So like I don't know. I just upside like I absolutely think he's an elite player and could be an awesome QB for you for a long, long time. But just I don't know that is he going to be the QB one ever?
No.
You know, I don't know. That's
No,
why I just
but
had him one lower, but he'll probably win that. I don't know. I thought this was tough. I like a lot of
it
these guys.
was, yeah. I just thought, as far as like, I'm with you. I was just looking like guys I want to start on my squads,
Oh,
and
okay.
he was in the top four for that, like
That's fair.
unquestioned
Oh
starter.
no, he's awesome. Yeah, he's great.
But
But
we'll see who else in your tier
yeah, we'll
two
see there because there might be a
before.
name that makes you mad, but we'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just say I've got Anthony Richardson in my tier two.
I do too. Yeah, I do as well. And it's for exactly the opposite of what I was saying as past Trout. I mean, if his average, full game average, because he had that one game where he had 4.4 points when he got hurt early, if you take that game out of there, he would have been the QB2. And obviously, we're talking a 3 game window of an average. So that's not, you can't just track that out for a whole season. But just you see the potential there. I mean, 500 and almost 600 yards passing in the first couple games, 3 touchdowns, but he had 4 on the ground and almost 140 rushing yards. So he just has that dynamic side to him that helps him over Stroud in fantasy. Maybe not on like a real NFL team necessarily, but in fantasy, it pushes him over the edge.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why, even with the injuries,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I
He's
guess.
young. Hopefully he can overcome these injuries and maybe play a little safer. But yeah, so yeah, I've got Richardson in there. I also have Devon Achan in there.
Okay, okay,
So
all right, all right. I had him in the third tier, but
oh, okay.
crazy. All right, we'll figure this out. I'll give you a Chan for sure. So are
Okay.
we just Richardson and a Chan so far in tier two?
Yeah, that's the tier two. Yeah. So
So I need some more paper and pencils. Oof. All right. What
so
about a wide receiver? You got any wide receivers in
I
this?
do. I do have one in the tier two here. I've got Zay Flowers here.
Okay, I do have flowers as well.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
we've got 3 there if you're willing to do Achan.
Okay, I'm
Um,
in.
And we may have another scenario where I can defer to you because
Yep,
in my rankings, I've got Tajay as the fourth 2 seed and then Stroud as the first 3 seed. So just to make it easy, we can flip those guys and
fine.
we'll put Stroud in the twos. That way he's with Anthony Richardson anyway. And then Tajay can slide down one.
I
But
like that.
for what it's worth, I think Tajay deserves to be in the twos. I think he's just been absolutely electric. Derrick Henry is waving goodbye to Titans fans, saying thanking them and everything. It seems like he's definitely on the way out. And I don't know, man, this guy almost had 900 all-purpose yards on 170 touches behind Derrick Henry, 3 touchdowns. Like I just think he's going to be awesome next year. No ACLs. Who gives a shit? Tajay
Never
to the
needed
moon.
an ACL. Never needed one.
And then
Uh,
just to quickly run back on like Achan, I think he's awesome. Worried about obviously the injuries he's already sustained and the
oh yeah.
sustainability of his explosive play style. But Mike McDaniels kind of makes you feel better about that stuff. So and then Zay, I just think he's going to develop as like a pure number one and fits Lamar really well. I think his ability to create separation and kind of get open and work on the fly and his ability to quickly move out of wherever he is to compensate for Lamar moving is kind of perfect for their offense. And I just think they're going to continue to develop that relationship. And Zay was actually the guy I struggled with Puka up at the 1-4, but I gave it to Puka ultimately.
Yeah, I could see that. Zay was definitely he was definitely above the rest of the tier two guys initially when I was going through it. So okay. So
Yeah.
Flowers, Achan, Richardson, and Stroud, huh?
Yep. For tier
Okay,
two.
I'll
I like that.
agree with a player that I had in tier two named Jaden Reed.
Mm, nice. Yeah, I have him in tier three as well. Or yeah, so you were saying you had him in tier two and then moved him down?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, I've got him in tier three as well. I think Jaden's been amazing, man. We won the or you won that Jersey League, and I had to just go ahead and trade for him to get him on my roster as the runner up, so I could still get a Jaden Reed jersey. And I'm super excited, man. Wide receiver 18 on the year, playing with brand new Jordan Love, and he's sneaky rushing ability, man. Like they give him the ball quite a bit. Only 11 attempts doesn't sound like a lot, but none of these other guys even have attempts to talk about. But he has 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. So he's kind of that utility player. Man, he's just been awesome. I think he's just a baller, man. I think he's gonna be a superstar.
Yeah, no doubt about it, dude. He's electric,
Hmm.
and it goes back to, the film. Like we knew he was on something, but
Hmm.
we didn't know what Jordan Love was going to be, and we let that hesitation kind
Yep.
of turn it into some shit where now we gotta trade the house to get him. So
Hmm. And my only
congratulations on that trade in the jersey, by the way.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean my only worry about him is that I think the offense will be diverse enough to maybe his fantasy heights won't be as high as some of these other guys potentially. Just because you'll have a healthy Watson, hopefully, and then you got Musgrave and all this stuff. And Love has shown the ability to distribute the ball. So that's why I think he falls into tier three, is that like maybe his highs won't be as high as say Zay or Puka or Bijan or somebody like that. But I think he can be consistently awesome for you and kind of hang in that early to late teens and 20s area.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'm just worried about Romeo, man. That guy's a fox.
Dude, somebody's gonna end up getting left out. Wicks down there, Romeo down there,
Oh
Watson,
my God.
Reed,
Bo
Musgrave, Gruff,
Melton.
Bo Melton.
Bo
Like,
Melton in the house,
it's
man.
Wicks is a player though. That's the one. That's the one I'd be worried about. He's a baller.
Yeah. No, he is. He is
I don't know why
badass,
I'm
man.
using baller so much tonight. Well,
I
okay, it's
know. I'm
cool to
trying to
know.
level it out.
Cool to know my Packers hype wasn't too high on him. Just to keep it in some fun NFC North, I've got Jordan Addison in tier
Yeah, I
three
got
as well.
Addison.
So I think it makes sense. Obviously Minnesota's a little shaky right now. We're not really sure what's going to happen with Kirk. I think you're in the camp that he's going to come back, if I recall, or maybe that was Danny that I was talking
Hell
to, not
no.
you. Okay, so then not you. So Danny, I
I'm
think,
out of
is in the
here.
cup that he'll be back. But so we could see a rookie in there, and then obviously he's not the one because Jefferson's there, which kind of
Sure.
think hurts him out of tier two. But man, was he just super fun to watch this season. Almost 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Can't argue with
Yeah.
that.
The 10 touchdowns thing, I mean, that's where it's at. Like the guy, the only other rookie here having these double digit touchdown year is Sam Laporta, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he actually had more yards than Laporta, so that's cool. But it doesn't really matter. You can't really compare those two. But I thought Addison was awesome, and I think
Yeah.
Jefferson on the field just increases his deep threat ability. A little bit of extra
Yeah,
space
keep the
and
attention off of him. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
so
It was working well for sure.
yeah, I love
Um,
it.
he probably would have exploded had Kirk stayed, healthy. So obviously we got Tajay moving down into tier three.
Yes,
And I
sorry
already
about it.
no, you're good. I already talked him up enough. So we don't need to spend any time. But so the last spot here, let's see, Tank Dell?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Same,
think
same.
that it's all evened out somehow. Just a couple of swaps there.
Nice.
But
Yeah. So
yeah.
that obviously mathematically that means our last four should line up. But yeah, Tank Dell, the only worry about him, man, is health. We saw it already happen once to end his season short, but it's not play. I mean, he obviously has shown the ability to get open, and Stroud being such an animal in the passing game. Yeah, I mean, he has probably more upside than some of the other guys in this tier three list. It just, I think maybe not to speak for you, but I think that was the reason I had him lower than the other guys is that just the he's smaller, he's going to get hurt, all the things that we were worried about, and it just already happened once, so it's just kind of scary.
Yeah, I think he only had 11 games played and ended up as a wide receiver 40, which is pretty impressive. But For me, with him compared to these other wide receivers in particular, is I think we kind of saw his ceiling,
Hmm.
whereas these other guys seem like they're still growing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of where I'm at with him. Like that was amazing, and obviously with him and Stroud both coming in as rookies, it's like
Hmm.
there's a potential for them to make that work consistently for a long term. But the way Nico Collins is playing, I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't be doubling down. There's no way there's enough air in that room for him
Hmm.
to keep doing what he was doing those weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And then you've got, Robert Woods is probably going to be on the way out. You imagine they're going to want to replace that. So like there's just room for this offense to grow, which is great for if you're a Texans fan,
Yeah,
but like we get invested in these rookies and then they end up getting replaced fairly quickly sometimes. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Dell. I hope it doesn't.
yeah,
And don't think it will, but you got to prepare for that kind of stuff. So
straight
moving
up.
to tier four, obviously, so we don't the name shouldn't be that surprising if you were paying attention. But
Check
so
your homework.
Jackson Smith and Jigba then would
Yep.
be in here. Again, with Pete Carroll being out the door and possible upgrade at quarterback, maybe Gino kind
Yeah.
of fell back to earth, more back to where maybe he is, kind of mid-tier startable, but maybe not like gonna take all these people, especially not carry three guys to fantasy viability. So I think that keeps him out of tier four or into tier four out of tier three, right?
Added tier three for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that spicy touchdown catch there in week 16, but
Mm-hmm.
or 15. We don't have to talk about it too much. Should have been Lockett, but I am a little surprised that he had 63 catches,
Yeah.
630
He was
yards, but
quiet. Yeah. Much quieter
by the
than
for a first round draft pick, I guess I was expecting to see
more.
Tyler Lockett like take a back seat to him
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the season, and it didn't really go that way.
Hmm.
And the quarterback play and like just being on the field wasn't really there for Geno. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. We'll see what happens. I think he was a guy that was iffy to make the list. When it came down to like fit all these guys on it, he.
Yeah.
I've got the hope for the future. I guess is
Yeah.
what we're hoping on this.
He's got a lot of upside. I mean, there's a reason he was drafted that early, and we've seen guys. I mean, it took CeeDee Lamb 2 years to start crushing the league. So like it
Sure.
happens. And so that's what you want to hold out hope for. But for now, I think yeah, he's a 4 seed. Um, I also think Rasheed Rice is in
Oh,
there. The only reason I don't have him higher is just because I think they bring in somebody to be the alpha there. I don't think it is Rice. I think it is right now, and he's been awesome. And I think he's earned a spot in Patrick Mahomes' trust circle and going forward, and he's going to be fantasy relevant. But I don't know. I don't see him as turning on this some other crazy level that makes him this dominant wide receiver one all of a sudden.
no, I think he's definitely a wide receiver two on that team, playing the role of a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
I think he could be consistent in his production. He had over 900 yards. It's a pretty good little season there, but he just doesn't have that like monster play
Hmm.
consistency that I think Kansas City is not going to rest until they find.
Yeah, they want to
So,
replace Hill or
yeah,
some version of that. And yeah, that's not Rice. Rice is going to be awesome as the guy to play number two to whoever they figure out. But yeah, I'm with you. Um, so then Josh Downs,
yep.
I think in a similar vein, like Michael Pittman being there kind of limits him. And then with Richardson coming back, they're probably not gonna throw as much. But in terms of the way he plays, he's been awesome. I mean, almost 100 targets as a second round pick coming into an offense that lost their starting quarterback. Like he did well, 700 yards, not so many touchdowns, which again, Pittman being there, and then the rushing game of Richardson and Taylor next year is really going to hurt his chance of touchdown numbers. But in terms of like playability, he was incredible. Like smooth catches all year long, highlight reel play after highlight reel play. and I think he
Like,
deserves to be in this window.
yeah, no, he's incredible, man. And like you're saying, obviously Pittman's the alpha there, but I mean Downs didn't really miss a beat, taking all that from North
Mhm.
Carolina straight up to the pros, man. Like I don't know. This is the guy we love the film on, and it translated a lot better than I anticipated. It's really incredible to watch him out there.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So last then would be Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton
Yeah.
Kincaid.
So our last tight end in there. And yeah, I mean, he looked really good with the Bills this year. Next year, maybe he'll be the starter instead of Dawson Knox. Obviously, I think we looked at it and Knox actually doesn't have an out. So they'd either have to like move on, trade, or he might still be there, which would take a little off of him. But I mean, Kincaid's young and still developing that relationship. I think he has a lot of potential and a lot of upside. But for now, I think this is a fine 4 seed spot for him.
Yeah, there's a lot less to be excited about than there was when we did this bracket.
Mm.
Um, I mean, yeah, he's always been that guy. Like maybe he'll line up on the outside because that's what he did in college. Like he's more of a wide receiver than a tight end and all this stuff. But until I don't know. I know I said it coming into the year, but like there's just not enough margin in Buffalo for them to like try
Hmm.
something with him. And I mean, we've seen him this it took like every play of the season just to win that division. So
Hmm.
maybe next year, I don't know. Maybe who knows? Maybe Buffalo can go win it, win it all, and then they can be like, all right, Kincaid, Super
You're
Bowl
the guy.
MVP. You're the guy. Yeah, those 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. You're the
Jeez,
man. Yep.
dude.
Put it in.
If they make it, I'm gonna put a bid in on that now.
I
See how
told
much
my
I can win.
buddy at work, he was asking me about the national championship, and I was like, man, tell you, Michigan's probably going to win if Blake Corum can score 2 touchdowns. And then the next day, I was like, did you bet it? You probably could have won some money if you just
Probably
listened.
could have. Oh
Thanks.
man, how about those Wolverines? That was crazy.
That was wild. Don't need to see any more JJ McCarthy face. You know what I mean? The face over
That's
it for a
fair.
little while.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
Well,
just, pull out the Google machine and it's like this guy's
right in front
face.
of you all day
Why?
long.
Come on. I'll give him a week. Maybe we'll see what it looks like next week. But anyway,
Yeah, all right. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe by the time the draft rolls around, you'll be okay with seeing him again.
eh,
Hopefully then. But anyway, there you have it. So that was a review of last year's Sweet 16 and a reseeding. And we're gonna hit you next week where we go down and we're gonna go through the whole bracket, right? Next week we're not
yeah, we'll
breaking
see
it.
what happens. Yeah, it could
Okay.
be a two-parter.
Okay, so it might get split into two. We'll see if it gets too long for you guys, but hopefully you enjoyed this and want to see next week because this will be kind of a little sneak preview for our big off-season
Oh
project, which
yeah.
is the full round, whole March Madness style, all the rookies. Please come and join us for that. It's fun. You'll see what we get wrong, what we get right. It's really fun. We saw what we did today. Dwayne McBride. Oof. But
And it's yeah, do pretty good, man. We did all right. We
yeah,
did
we
all
did all
right.
right. I mean, not bad. Only 7 were kind of iffy, but anyway, hopefully we'll see you next week. Like, share, and subscribe. Come follow us. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
I took a lease out on your heart.